Hey, what's up guys? JT Torres here, third degree black belt, two-time ADCC champion. Today I worked a whole series from my bottom game here, from positions like closed guard, butterfly guard, single leg X guard, open guard, positions that I know you guys will enjoy, positions that you guys can add to your game ASAP. These are positions and techniques I've worked day in and day out in daily training and at the highest level of competitions. So I know these are simple techniques that you guys can really take, add to the game, and start drilling ASAP. I hope you guys enjoy the new project that I just worked on. I have no doubt you guys will. Thank you so much. I want to talk about working from bottom now. Now, one of my favorite guards is the closed guard. It's a great way to control your opponent. You keep him in between your hips, keep him locked down. It's a good way to attack somebody. But before we can even start working any attacks, any sweeps or submissions, we need to break somebody down to get them close enough and off balance to start attacking. So what I mean by that is breaking posture. So let's say I have Andrew here inside my closed guard. Now when I have him inside my closed guard here, he has his elbows tucked in, he has his hands on my rib cage, and he's got good posture. Now it's hard for me to sit up, yank on his neck, or pull his arm across, or sit up, or do anything. If I open up the legs here and try to sit up, I'm gonna give him the space here for him to, step around my guard and start looking for his attacks. So when I'm here, there's a few things I always try to do. I'm always trying to pull my two knees towards my chest. So there's never a second where I'm just sitting here not doing anything, right? I'm not letting him feel comfortable at all. I'm always trying to do something to make him feel off balance. So even though you guys can't really see it, but I'm pulling my knees in at all times. Every now and then, every couple seconds, I'm just checking him here, just trying to get him moving here, uncomfortable. Now, when I pull the knees in, I want to add pulling the arms apart. Now, there is, the classic way where you make two knife hands with your hands here. Now, you lift your hips up and you place your hands directly underneath your wrist. Now, here, you're going to swim the arms up and over as you pull your two knees in towards your chest. Here. Now, as soon as I break him down, I always make an effort of keeping the inside control. If I do not keep the inside control, Andrew will just simply pummel his arms back in and regain his posture. So as soon as I pull my two knees in towards my chest and break his hands apart, I keep the inside control. I try to aim my forearms here in the bend of the arms, just like this. Now, once I keep them there, I use my two hands to reach over the top and grab the triceps. Once I grab the triceps here, I keep my elbows out, just like so. So now, if you try to pummel back in, it's a little hard for him to do that. I can follow him here and keep the arms away. Once you got here, though, I want you guys to choose a side, whichever side you like. Doesn't matter. But as soon as I get my two hands in position here, I'm going to remove one of the hands and go to the back of the neck. So, for example, I'm going to go to my left hand to the back of the neck. So once I get the inside control here, left hand is going to make the same grip that we're using behind the tricep, but behind the neck now. Now, as soon as I make that grip here, I'm going to hip escape out. As I hip escape out, I open up the legs for a brief second to help me create that angle. Once I create that angle, I relock my closed guard and I pull him in tight. I'm trying to pull his head towards my chest. Almost like I'm trying to make him listen to my heart. So now, if Coach Drew tries to posture back up or get inside control, it's going to be very difficult for him to do because there is no space for him to work with. Try to get your hands back on my body here. It's very hard to do that. He's going to have to work very hard. And by the time he's working hard to regain his posture, we're already thinking about our next attack. So again, that first break, though, was with the hands underneath his wrist here. There's another one I like to do, too. Let's say your partner's staying super tight and you can't get your hands underneath their hands. Another option to work here is using your two claw grips here to go over the top of their thumbs here. And I put my hands in position. Now I'm going to pull the arms apart instead of swimming underneath them this time around. Everything else stays the same though. And like I said before, when you're playing your closed guard, every now and then check the person. Pull your knees in towards your chest. So this way they feel uncomfortable. They don't feel steady or stable there. So now I'm going to pull the hands apart at the same time. 1 and 2. Now the same thing, once I pull those hands apart, I go to my inside control. Then I grab one hand to the back of the neck. I hip escape out. Let's turn around here, Andrew, so you can see how I hip escape out a little bit more. So right from here, guys, when I hip escape out, I unlock the closed guard, but I still make sure to pinch my knees tight. So this way I keep them in between my two legs. And I'm gonna just move myself out using my movement like a hip escape, and I'm kicking off his body. Now I lock the closed guard again. I pull the head towards my chest. And now if you guys notice here, I've created an angle. His head and my head are no longer on the same line. If our heads are on the same line, it's going to be hard for me to do anything to him. Now I've created the superior angle on him. I can start looking for shoulders, necks, all sorts of stuff here, which is what we're going to get into next. But I want to make sure you guys understand how we break the posture down and get in position to attack our opponent. All right, guys, so we're going to work our first submission from the closed guard position. Once we're here, remember, the first thing we do is break our partner down. Once I break him down, then we can start attacking. So for me, either go underneath the hands or reach over the top and pull the hands apart as you pull your two knees in. So I go from here to here. I swim for the inside control. Once I get the inside control, you're going to choose one hand to go to the back of the neck, way down heavy. As soon as you make that grip, we unlock the closed guard. Hip out. Once I hip out, we're in a good position here. Let's turn this way, Andrew. The other way. Once I hip out, I'm going to expose my left knee and shin in front of his bicep. Using your hand that's already on that tricep and bicep to push the arm away and expose your left knee through. So you expose it through, just like this, and then you can relock your closed guard. Once I lock the closed guard here, he's in a bad spot. I can use my left hand now for another attack, to use something to look for the wrist control, basically. I'm going to use the left hand to slide down, and I control the wrist, just like this here. Once I control the wrist here, I want to create space here. Now, when I create space here, I'm going to extend my hips and shin into his bicep, forcing him out that way. So from here, I extend. And when I extend, I'm driving my shin into the bicep there, making it feel terrible for the person, right? It doesn't feel comfortable whatsoever. So from there, usually the reaction I find is the person tries to push back in. But the thing is, they can't really get back in towards me because I have that leg stopping him. From here, I'm going to open up the arm. Once I open up the arm here, I have a really solid angle here to pull my knee up towards my chest. When I pull the knee up towards the chest, you can also pull the head towards you to open up a little bit more space. So everyone check out that detail. So I pull as I pull my left leg out, clearing his arm. Now I throw my left leg over the top of the back. Remember, aim your heel to your partner's spine and flare those toes up. As soon as I throw my leg over the shoulder, right leg comes in, also flaring those toes up. Now it's time to adjust for our triangle. We lift the hips up, pull the arm across, and I settle back down. I sit back up, I grab my shin here, glue my right foot to his hip, and I glue my leg to the body. I want to act as a windshield wiper here, keeping myself flat on the back so that's why I don't create any space around his neck. I lock my figure four. I reach over the top of the arm, grab my knee and shin with my left. My right hand's already on the shin, so I keep it on the shin. I crunch up as I pull my shin directly behind the back of his neck, forcing him to tap. Let's talk about a variation to our triangle we just worked. For our first triangle, we pulled our leg out. Sometimes people have longer legs than others, and sometimes we can't pull the leg all the way out, or we're not as flexible, and pull the knee to the chest is not as easy for others, right? So I'm going to show you guys a variation I also enjoy doing. So once again, we're in the closed guard. I'm going to break his posture down as I pull the knees in, getting my inside control. As soon as I get the inside control, we grab the back of the neck. Remember, if I grab with my right hand, that means my hips are going out to my right hand side. So right hand to the back, hips out to the right. From here, once I hip out, I lock the closed guard. Let's turn this way. Go. Once I lock the closed guard here, guys, I use my left hand to keep that inside control and push his arm out. As I push the arm out here, I expose my left knee and shin in front, relocking the closed guard. Once I relock that closed guard, I slide my left hand down to the wrist. One big detail here, guys, I want you guys to make sure you do is slide the hand down. Do not lose contact with the person's arm. If I leave his bicep and tricep from here and go down to the wrist, as you guys just saw, he's going to move his arm, right? And it's going to be hard for me to track it back down. So you just slide straight down until you find that wrist. Now, once I find that wrist, I want to do the same thing. I want to create space. From here, he wants to stay tight to me. He doesn't feel comfortable. He already knows I have a superior angle on him, so he's trying to square back up with me. But this shin is not allowing him to do that. I'm keeping him away. So with the wrist control and the shin in place, I'm going to thrust my hips forward here into his far bicep with my shin along, driving hard into his bicep here. Once I've done that, he's going to drive back in. As he drives back in, our first variation was going to the pull-out triangle. This time around, as I feel him pushing back in, I allow Andrew to come in. As he's coming in here, I'm going to kick my left leg straight through underneath his arm. Pretend you're kicking down the front door. So again, I'm stretching him away. As I stretch him away, I feel him fighting hard to go back in. As I feel the fight coming in towards me, I kick my left leg through as I punch his hand to his chest. Now that I've done that, I'm going to loop my left leg over the top. Once again, dropping that heel to his spine. I lock over the top with my right foot. Once I lock up over the top, we lift, we pull the arm across, grab the shin, adjust, lock the figure four, grab the knee, hands are right on the shin, we sit up and pull down here. And don't forget, guys, we also have the arm bar there. I like grabbing this grip here because we can always stay here and also pull down with the left elbow to attack that arm bar right there. All right, guys, let's talk about another submission I love to do. It's probably one of my favorite submissions to hit, especially without the gi. I call it the flash arm bar because it happens quickly and usually your partner doesn't see it, like the flash of a camera, boom, takes him by surprise, right? But it hurts. It hurts more than the camera. So I'm going to have him back in my closed guard, same position. We're going to break down his posture. Here, inside control. We grab the back of the neck. We hip out. Same deal here, guys. We lock the closed guard. Now from here, we've been focusing on the far arm for the triangle chokes, right? Pushing and pulling. This time around, I'm going to focus on this arm, which is usually the arm that they less expect for us to attack. So when I'm here, let's actually turn this way so they see what we're doing again. When we're here, guys, remember, we slide our hand down to the wrist and I'm driving away. When I'm driving away here, what I'm doing is extending this arm here. He can't keep the arm bent here. I just make sure I stay over the top with my overhook. When I stay over the top, I keep my forearm and elbow tight over the top of his arm. So this way he can't pull it out. He doesn't want to pull it out anyways. If he does pull the arm out, he's going to give me his back. And he doesn't want to give up the back. So most of the time, they're going to keep the arm there anyways. But we're extending the arm and we're opening it up for attacks by extending into the other arm. So now that I'm here, I'm extending here. He's trying to drive back into me, right? He doesn't like me doing this to him. But we're going to look to attack this arm now. So my right hand that was in the back of the neck is going to slide down and grab slightly above the elbow. So my hand slides down and I grab slightly above the elbow, just like this. Now, once I make this grip here, I'm going to loosen up a little bit with my shin, right? I'm going to allow Andrew to come back into me. Andrew, start pushing back in. From here, as he's pushing back in, I'm going to release this grip. I'm going to drop my left foot to his hip. So I'm going to leave the closed guard position, unlock my feet, and this foot goes straight to the hip. Once I drop my left foot to the hip, I'm going to push myself out a little bit further, straight up here, and then hip a little bit more towards the mat. So I push myself out, and then I hip in. When I hip in here, I slide my right foot up, and I keep my foot on his lap. Like I'm literally stepping on Andrew here. Now, once I slide this leg up, I'm going to slide my foot up high enough to where I feel my fist hit my thigh, the inner thigh. Because now I know when my knuckles hit my thigh, I'm in position for the arm bar. Right? Because my hand, like I said before, we're going to grab slightly above the elbow. I say slightly above the elbow because usually if your hand slips a little bit because it's slippery, because we're sweating, your hand's going to land on the elbow anyways. Right? Don't grab the elbow because if your hand goes below it, then we lose the position here. But I have the elbow now. Like I'm holding a baseball in my hand. So once I slide my right leg up and step on Andrew here, I'm going to crunch. As I crunch here, I bring my right knee down towards the mat, and I make sure I keep my left foot. Can you lift up a little bit here, Andrew? My left foot on his far hip. This way he can't push back into me to defend the arm bar. He's completely extended out now. He can't bail out. He can't pull out. It's just too tight of a lock here. And like I said, he can't push back in. So I crunch. As I crunch here, I make sure I keep my elbow locked down like a chicken wing. Now I crunch and I bring my right knee down towards the mat. Force him to tap. It's a very quick arm bar. So one more time from here, guys. Right in this angle. So we break him down. 1, 2, drive into him. As I drive into him, I slide the hand down slightly above the elbow. Now I take my left foot to the hip, push myself out to the lat, crunch, and I finish the arm lock there. One of my favorite submissions. It comes on quick. It's the flash arm bar. Another option here from our closed guard system that we've been working here, right? The shin on bicep. One of my favorite positions here. So we're gonna go back down to the closed guard. When I'm here, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna break our partner down, like say either swimming underneath or reaching over the top and pulling apart. Always pulling the knees in towards your chest. So you can break the person down. Inside control, one hand to the back of the neck. I hip out. I expose my left knee and shin in front of that bicep, and I relock the closed guard here. From here, let's angle out a little bit more this way, Andrew. Perfect. Right from here, we slide that hand down to the wrist here. Now I'm going to extend him away. Once again, always creating space. So once I extend him away here, I reach for his arm. Now when I reach for the arm, we let the hand slide down the person's body. Now when I reach here, I position my hand behind the tricep, so this way I can keep a good hold of his elbow down with my elbow and forearm, with a chicken wing, here. Once I create that space, drive away, I'm going to throw my right leg over the top. I love this omoplata. We're going to look for the omoplata now. I love it because I'm not a flexible guard player whatsoever, so it's easy for me to throw the leg over once I have the space. So with all this space here created, I'm going to throw my leg over the top, just like that. No, you don't have to yank on your leg. You don't have to worry about hurting your knee. Just pass over. Why? Because we have so much space now. Now that I've had my right leg over the top, I keep my hand on the arm. Now I take my left leg out. As I take the left leg out, I place my left foot on the mat. I use my toes in the mat to push myself out. As I push myself out, notice how I let go of his wrist at the same time. Now that I'm here, it's time for me to sit up. From here, do not lock your figure four. If I lock the figure four from here, Andrew can easily posture up and stack into my neck here, which is no good for us. Or he can cartwheel over the top. Go ahead, Andrew. No good for us either. Go up. So at this split second where I just threw my leg over, pushed myself out, where I'm parallel with my partner, I want to make sure I sit up as I lock my figure four. So from here, I take my left leg, I'm going to chop it and sit and lock the figure four here. Just slide back a little bit. So again, one more time. I just threw the leg over. Let's go back one step here, Andrew. I threw my leg over. 1. I take the left leg out. 2. And now I push myself out as I let go of his wrist here. Push myself out. Now I chop my left leg and sit up. Now as I sit up here, good little detail for you guys. I sit up and I lean away for a split second. This way it's easier for me to sit up, right? Because you know sometimes I've seen it happen a lot where we sit up here and then we're just having trouble sitting up because the person's strong or they have a good base. I'm trying to sit up and it's hard. Make it easier for yourselves. Chop and lean at an angle. See, I'm using my hand as a post to help me push myself up now. Now, when it comes down to locking the figure four, you guys may be asking yourselves, well, he's not locking a full-blown figure four. In my opinion, when I lock a full-blown figure four, I think it's actually still easier or, somewhat easy for the person to posture up here and put me back to my neck, especially if you have a partner who's big and strong. Turn out this way. When I lock my figure four here, guys, I actually prefer to lock a shallow figure four. So from here, instead of full blown, I just slide my foot down by my ankle and I extend both legs out. When I extend both legs out, I'm creating a lot of pressure behind his shoulder now. Try to posture up now. Big difference now, right? Where if I'm just here, it's much easier for him to push up. So when I sit up and lock that figure four, I extend both legs here. Now, same detail here about our triangle, flare those toes up, right? You want to have jiu-jitsu feet. When you flare the toes up, you just lock everything in tighter. You're flexing those legs. You're squeezing those muscles. So flex those toes up. And remember, easy way to remember that, toes up are jiu-jitsu feet. If your toes are pointing down, those are ballerina feet. Ballerinas are just as tough too, but just make sure for jiu-jitsu, you keep jiu-jitsu feet. Toes are up. So I'm here, flexing those toes up. Now it comes time to switch the arms off. From here, my hand this whole time has still been on his elbow, which is important that we do. Because especially without the gi, there's a lot of, especially when we start sweating, it can get a little slippery, easier for him to slip the arm out and escape my position here. So I switch the arms only once I sit up to this position here. So my left hand's gonna come underneath and scoop on his elbow. So I lift with my right, so you guys can see, I lift with my right so I have space to fit my left hand underneath. So I go from 1 to 2, and then I grab the far side of his hip here. Once I grab the far side of his hip, we gotta break him down now. I can't just sit up here and expect to finish a shoulder lock. So let's say Andrew's locking his hands together, or maybe he's grabbing inside of his own thigh, just making things more difficult for me. So I need to break him down before I can start working the shoulder lock. When I break him down here, guys, I want to do a quick little switch of the hands for a split second, then go right back to my original grips. So we're here for now. Once it's time to break him down, I'm going to use my left hand. Once you've secured the elbow, make sure it's tight, make sure it's not going anywhere. I use my left hand to reach over the top and grab inside of his hip here. Now once I grab inside the hip here, I'm going to twist around over my right shoulder and post my right hand. Now from here, I'm going to hip out, but when I hip out, instead of going the traditional way where we just hip straight out, I'm going to hip out in a semicircle up towards his head. So again, we're here. I switch, 1, 2. Now I use my hips here to pull out, but up towards his head. As I pull his hips down, do you see I'm going in a semicircle there? Makes it very hard for Andrew to stop. So once I've broken him down, now I can switch the arms back. So Andrew, let's face him here. Thank you. Once we're here, I switch the arms back. But when I switch the arms back here, instead of just putting my right hand just simply back to the hip, I drop my whole forearm inside. Here, so I go elbow down first. So pretend you're throwing a hard elbow. So going from here to here, straight down to the mat. Now I go back to his elbow with the left hand. I unlock the figure 4. As I unlock the figure 4, now my hand can come up. I post my left set of toes on the mat. Pretend you're about to sprint. Toes on the mat, and I curl this heel in tight. So again, you can just do that on your own. If you need assistance, pull your own leg in yourself. Now I use my toes on the mat to lift my hips up off the mat and bring my forehead down right next to his head towards the mat. So I lift and drive. Very powerful submission here. It's very tight, very hard for him to stop. So now that we have unlocked our special character, aka the omoplata, let's talk about a few different ways to finish the omoplata just in case you encounter some defenses that your partner can show or give you, right? So let's say we're gonna start back in the omoplata, same position we just locked in. Put your head this way here. So we're gonna start here in the omoplata, guys. The same one we just locked up from closed guard. Now, when we're here, just remember what we spoke about earlier. We have that shallow figure 4, extending your hips away, or extending their shoulder, your feet away, and keeping his shoulder heavy and glued towards the mat. So I'm here. Now, sometimes you just have someone who's got a strong base. Maybe you feel if I try to break them down like we did before, it just won't work. I'm trying to yank them down. They just have a solid base, right? It's hard to move them. So in this instance, they can be locking their hands together or grabbing inside their thigh. So it's hard to move them. So from here, instead of trying to move them out that way to look for the shoulder lock, we're gonna hop over the top. So we're here, our grips are the same. I have my hand on the hip, my left hand's on the elbow. I'm gonna open up my figure 4 here. Now when I open up the figure 4, I'm gonna just post my left foot, not as deep as we would to go for the finish, but a little closer, right? So I'm gonna show you guys in a second. I go from here to here. Now, once I place my foot on the mat, I'm gonna use my right hand, the one that's on the far hip. I'm gonna post it, palm down on his hip, lower back area, just like that. Now I'm gonna use my left foot and my right hand to push myself up off the mat. Just get your butt off the mat, lift off, right? Now when I lift off the mat, my right leg's gonna play a huge role now. As I lift up, I wanna point my right leg over the top of his head. So I'm gonna show you guys what I mean. I lift, and as I lift, I point my right leg over the top. Now when I point my right leg over the top, I start hopping, forcing the person to roll over to their back. If they don't go, well, we can hurt their shoulder really bad. So they're gonna wanna go, because if not, we're gonna pull the arm straight out of the socket. So again, one more time. We're gonna start the omoplata, we're here. Shallow figure 4, he's not moving. I post, once I post here, I post my hand on his back here. So again, from 1 to 2, and then I lift. Now from here, I point my right leg over the top and I hop. Once I hop, I'm gonna land on top with my hips heavy on his chest. From here, we go from omoplata to the monoplata. I'm going to drop myself out to the side. A good way to measure it, let's pull back in a little bit. Good way to measure it, draw a straight line from your partner's ear. Once I draw that straight line, that's where your hand is going to go. And then after your hand, your hip. So go from 1 to 2. I pinch down, tuck the arm away, crunch on the arm. I adjust. When I adjust here, we pull that knee up until my knuckles hit my thigh. We pinch, we lift, and we finish our shoulder lock from there. So once again, we went from omoplata to the monoplata. All right, guys, let's talk about one more variation from the omoplata position, right, that you may encounter. So when you attack the omoplata that we worked on from closed guard, the person on top may try to stack you to get over the top to the other side of your body to undo the omoplata. I'll show you guys exactly what I mean now. So Andrew, go right here, please. Stay a little to the back. Yep. Angle out a little bit more here. Perfect. So now let's say once we get to the omoplata here, my partner stacks me before I can sit up here. So once he starts stacking me here, he wants me all on my neck here. So this way he can either potentially force me to stay here while he walks over the top. Walk, 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 walk to undo the omoplata and then take the side control. So before he does that, we need to react. So I get here, he's gonna post up, lift up, and stack me here. Turn to the side a little bit so I can see. Once I'm here, guys, and he's stacking me, I want to create a post. So my left hand that was on the elbow is going to leave the elbow. I'm going to put my hand, Lego man grip, on the outside of my thigh, just like this. Now I can keep my left elbow as a post on the mat. So now when he tries to drive into me here, he can't drive me onto my neck as much as possible, or as much as before now. My right forearm is also going to go on his near side hip, just like this, guys. So this way he can't walk over the top. So now I'm keeping him away as much as I can. Much better than before, than just allowing him to stack me and walk over the top. So now that I'm here, I'm keeping him at bay. I want you guys to push into your partner first. Just like this, to cause a reaction. And once I've caused that reaction, he's going to push back. When he pushes back here, I'm going to look over my near side shoulder. Or I'm going to look over towards him. I'm going to hit a backward roll here, guys. When I hit a backwards roll, always roll in towards your partner. If I look away over my left shoulder, it's not going to work. It's going to feel even worse for us on bottom. So I look in towards him. I kick. When I feel him push back, I extend both of my legs out. Like you're on the swing set trying to pick up speed, right? You extend your legs out. I extend the legs out like a backflip and kick over the top. Once I kick over the top here, I catch the elbow. Just turn to the side here and just slide back in. Now angle your head the other way to your butt. Yep. Now I catch his elbow with my left hand here. So we landed here for a split second, right? Once we get here, we switch the hands off. So I replace my left with my right. My right hand's going to grab slightly above the elbow. As I grab, I use my left hand to push his head in between my two legs here. As soon as I catch the head inside, I'm going to pivot and force and just turn into him right here. I'm going to force him into the arm lock. I'm going to turn, cut the corners. I cut the corner here before I slide my hips off onto the mat. I throw my right leg over the top and cross my feet here. As soon as I cross my feet, I pinch my knees together. Elbow stays in tight, tucking my elbow away like a chicken wing here. Now I fall back. As I fall back here, I thrust the hips forward as I pull my right elbow down towards the mat, forcing him to tap out. Alright guys, let's talk about a transition that I really like playing with. When we're attacking our omoplata from the closed guard, we can also transition to the triangle when the person defends, right? So I'm going to demonstrate for you guys. So I'm going to have my partner in closed guard. We're going to use our same setup here, guys. We break down their posture, we hip out, get our inside control, and get to our position here. I extend. Once I extend, leg comes over the top, foot to the mat, we hip out, and now I lock the omoplata here. Now, the person may stack me here, right? And when they stack here, sometimes they lock their hands together, right? And we have our defensive we work last, where we have our frames in place to stop them from rolling us over our neck. Now, sometimes they posture up and they stand a little tall here, right? When I see this happen here, it's a good opportunity to go into the triangle. So I'm going to swing my left leg over the top. As I swing the left leg over the top, I go right into the triangle here. And now, once I lock in the triangle, usually they keep the hands locked underneath my waist here, just like that. he doesn't want to risk himself getting caught in the triangle. He's going to do everything in his power to defend the triangle. Slide back a little bit here. So with his hands locked here, guys, there's a few different things we can start looking for. Once I see this arm locked away here, I want to work the reverse triangle. I'm going to pull the head down with my two hands here. Once I pull the head down, I reach for my shin and I pull my right leg over the top. When I pull my right leg over the top, I want to try to aim my heel in front of my knee. This way you know you're in the correct position here. So again, I sit up and I reach for my shin. I pull my foot until I get my shin in front of my left knee. Once you've done that, you can kick your left leg over the top and lock the reverse triangle. So from here, we're going to go with the intentions of finishing the reverse triangle. But more than likely, he's going to expose his arm, and I'll show you guys exactly what I mean in a second. From here, with this reverse triangle locked up, I'm going to lift my hips up, and I'm going to pull his head, instead of straight down towards us, in towards my thigh here. Just like this. Now from here, he's going to start feeling the choke. He may tap. But usually the reaction I find is as I'm pulling the head into my thigh here, his arms are going to come out to defend. Because he's threatened by the choke. He's feeling the choke. Go ahead, Andrew. Try to fight my hands here. Exactly. Try to pull my hands off your head. Exactly. That's what I'm going to find. As soon as you see this happen, you lift, pull the arm across, and now you reach for the shin that's on top, and you switch here. As I switch, notice how I just let my leg drop. I switch and pull my left leg straight down. My right foot goes to the hip. If you stack them here, I walk my shoulders back. I windshield wipe out, lock the figure four, and I go two hands to the back of the triangle, or you reach for your shin with your left arm around the knee, right hand goes to the shin, you sit up, pull down, and I finish the triangle right there and then. So again, we're going to start in the triangle. You may find yourself in this situation by using our triangle setup from earlier on. If you ever find yourself here and the person defends by locking the hands down here, think about going to the reverse triangle first to unlock the arms here. Because it could be very difficult for me to pull the arm out or look for the shoulder lock here because he has a tight bite. Right? I'm trying to pull the arm out. He's not letting me here. So just remember, we're going to sit up, pull our heel in front of our knee. Let's turn this way so you can see that detail. So when we're here, guys, I use my hand to pull my heel in front of my left knee. Then I kick the leg out and lock the figure four right there and then. Lift the hips up and I pull his head into my thigh here, threatening the choke. He doesn't like that. The arms come in, push the arm across, grab the shin that's on top. From here, I'll unlock the legs and pull the legs straight down. When we windshield wipe out, we lock the figure four, reach around the knee, grab the shin. Right hand's already on the shin. We lift and pull down, forcing to tap. I was talking about another variation we can do off our triangle attack from the closed guard. So we're starting the closed guard. Now let's say I break them down once again. 1 and 2, we get our inside control, we hip out. Now we go into our shin on bicep control. Let's turn to the side here. So we're here, we move down to the wrist, we extend away. When he pushes back in towards us, we attack the triangle here. 1 and 2, or you do the one, we pull the leg out. Up to you guys. But once we get here to the triangle, a common defense that we find is the person locking those hands underneath their hips there. He knows if I pull the arm across, he's in danger for triangles and arm locks. So he hides his arms, keeps the elbows in tight, and now he's making it hard for us on bottom to finish, right? Turn this way. So now that we're here, he locks those hands in tight, right? We're going to look to create a little bit of space here to attack his shoulder. So I'm going to lift the hips back up. When I lift the hips back up, I'm going to reach across with my left hand. When I reach across with the left hand, I'm going to make a strong grip inside of his elbow. When I make this grip here, guys, I pull my elbow back towards my far hip. Now, we're not going to break his arms apart using this one grip. But what we're doing here is that we're weakening his grip there, making it harder for him to hold on. So again, we lift. I reach across and I start pulling this elbow in towards me. Now, once I pull this arm in towards me, I want to bring my right hand to his knee. This way, I start keeping him away from us, right? We want to create some space. I don't want him pushing back into me. So now that my hand's on his knee, it's time for the next step, which is moving my right foot. Now, my right foot is the leg that's on top. That leg is going to come down, and I'm going to put my foot to the hip and glue my leg tight to his body here. Now, it's very important that we talk about the left leg, the one that's left behind, the one that's over the shoulder. Essentially, this leg is controlling his posture. If I fall asleep and don't think about this leg here, he's going to rip out of my position here, right? So when I keep my left leg behind, I make sure I keep the left leg heavy over his shoulder. And the way we do that is that we keep that heel aligned with his spine and we flare those toes up. Jiu-jitsu feet here. At the same time, I'm squeezing my two knees together. So he can't, just fall over to either side or posture up or pull out. He's stuck here. Once we get here, guys, we're going to push ourselves directly up to create space. So we're going to use a few tools here to do that. We're going to use our foot that's on the hip. We're going to use our shoulders walking back. And we're going to use our hand that's on the knee to push up. When we push up, he wants to push back into us, right? But when we push up and keep our position there, it's hard for him to do that now. We're keeping him away because we're creating space. So with these three things in place, we're ready to move on. I push myself up. As soon as I push myself up, I'm going to take my right foot off his hip here. Do you see how I have him extended out right here? Perfect. That's what we want. From here, I take my right foot from the hip to the lat. Once I go to the lat here, I squeeze my knees together, forcing him to tap. It's a super tight monoplata. The panini press is what I nicknamed this move the panini press because we're squeezing from both ends here, forcing him to tap. A lot of pressure in the shoulder and elbow there. Very uncomfortable for the partner on bottom. So if you're ever in the triangle, think about this position. You have the triangle, they're defending. Remember, create space and look for the monoplata. So again, we lift, reach, pull, post, push myself up, step, and squeeze. All right, guys, let's talk about a submission that I love to hit here. Now, let's say we're working one of the closed guard options we worked earlier where we're going to the shin on the bicep position, but this time around, our partner beat us to the punch and they start standing up before we can set that up. From there, there's a submission I love to hit. It's high percentage there. You catch the person off guard because it comes in quick. It's the flash armbar. One of my favorite submissions to hit. So from here, let's talk about it. We're going to start in the closed guard. Once I'm in the closed guard here, let's say Andrew's doing the correct thing here. He's keeping his elbows tucked in. He has his hands locked into my armpit here, so now I can't reach up and grab the back of his neck. He's making things more difficult for me. So from here, let's say he steps up, right? Whenever someone stands up, they start stepping up, and that's how you know they're going to stand up. Now, in this example, let's look at the situation here. He stepped up his right leg, which obviously means his left leg's going to come up last. But one thing I'm going to tell you guys here, really good detail. Whichever leg he steps up, I'm going to arm lock the opposite arm. The reason why, if we take a look at his body right now, the positioning of his body, when he steps his right leg up, his right arm is slightly higher than his left arm, correct? So now that means the left arm is closer to us and easier for us to grab. It's going to be a second behind this arm. So again, starting up from the beginning. So as soon as he step up, I put my hand directly behind his elbow or slightly above the elbow right here. And when I make this grip here, guys, I'm not making a super strong grip here where I want to threaten him here. If I go super strong, he may think to himself, wait a minute, what's going on? Let me bring that elbow back down. Exactly, right? Start again. So we're here. His elbows are tucked in. He has good posture. Like I said, he's doing the correct thing. He steps up. Okay, we know to start looking for the opposite arm. So just go across and put your hand right behind his elbow. So again, you're going to armbar the arm across from the leg that he steps up. My hand is simply going to go behind the back of his elbow, slightly above the elbow, that area. I would say somewhere between the tricep and the elbow. So once I place my hand there, he's going to stand up. As he stands up, I unlock my closed guard. As I unlock the closed guard, I drop my hip out towards the arm that we're going to armbar. So I unlock and hip out. When I hip out here, I use my right foot and glue it to his hip. As soon as I glue it to the hip here, I hip up and drop down even further. When I drop down even further, I now align my thigh with my knuckles. Once I feel the knuckles hit, we're in a good spot. I'm also using my knee behind the shoulder to break him down even further. So this way it's hard for Andrew to rip out of the arm or drive back in towards me. So we hip up, and now we crunch. As I crunch, I bring my right knee down towards the mat. Let's turn this way, Drew. Cut that corner for me. Perfect, freeze. So you guys can see the mechanics here. My left foot's on the far hip. My right foot's on the near side hip. I'm lifting, crunching. Now I bring my right knee down along with my thigh. So again, one more time, from this position, from this angle. He steps up. 1, 2. I unlock. I hip out. Drop the foot. I lift. As I lift, I pull my left foot to the hip as well. Now we're here. I push myself out even further. I crunch. As soon as I crunch there, you see the tap comes in really quick. My knee is going towards the back of his shoulder as my thigh is driving in behind his elbow. Crunch, tuck my elbow in tight so his hand's stuck underneath my armpit. And now we just glue our leg down towards the mat. One more time here. He stands up. 1, 2, hip up, and we finish.